Hi everyone, I've just finished this image what you see on the screen. I thought I'd give you a little rundown in Photoshop of the layers and the process and what went into it. Here's a finished piece in Lightroom, but if I go back to Photoshop, there's the same image but without the Lightroom adjustments, what I use at the end to finish it off. So, quite a quick edit. I think it took around an hour and a half. So, if we go to the bottom, press Alt, this is how it started. So basically I cut Marco out of the image using the pen tool. I always think the pen tool gives better results, but everyone uses different methods. But I used to use Refine Edge, but I didn't think it gave a crisp cut out like you can with the pen tool. So if we go back, if we start from the beginning, through the different stages, I brought in the image of the sky, as I think for portrait, a good dynamic portrait when you've got a sky in the background and it's quite simple and you have the model in the front, a bit of lighting, looks very good. So after the sky, I brought back some of the detail, give it a bit of contrast. Then, because I duplicated my raw file, I was able to put Marco over the top. As you can see, I knew where the light was going onto Marco, so I knew that I needed the light part of the sky to be on the right side of him, just to match up in the lighting aspect. So already it looks like he could have been stood from the sky, although the colours off obviously, but then I adjusted that with colour balance, got some blues and cyans into Marco, so he looks a bit more in his environment there. After that was a little bit of skin retouching, not much because I don't really do much on men, just get rid of some spots on his face here and that's it. And then next on the list was burn, so just did a little burning on the various areas. And then after that, obviously a bit of dodging, just a bit on his nose and his face, bring out a bit of shape to his face. The next thing I did was brought some detail into the image, which I used Topaz detail, as you can see. Let's zoom in, let's look. On his face, that's before the detail. You can see it's basically adding a fine contrast to all the tiny little details, give it a bit of sharpness. And after that I went into Colour Effects 4 and used the detail extractor to bring out some more detail. Zoom out now, as you can see, click it off and on again. So without the detail extractor, that's with the detail extractor. After that there was a bit more dodging and burning. I like to use various methods. I use curves for the first dodging and burning, which is a bit more subtle, and then when I want it to give a bit of a painterly look or a bit more stylized, I use the 50% grey layer with the dodge and burn tool. So yep, as you can see it makes a big difference to the image. Next was the lighting effects. I had two of these again. The first one was just a slight one, which I used a white brush, put the layer on linear dodge, and then after that I created a new layer, filled it with black, then used the lens filter. Obviously then put that layer onto a screen mode, so it got rid of all the black and left the light. Creates a nice effect, just sort of blends them into the scene. Next was colour balance. I like to do a bit of cinematic grading on the images, or look at films and try and get that kind of feel. I always end up for some reason using browns and blues in the shadows. I don't know why, but it's something I find quite nice and always looks cinematic. So after the colour balance with the select colour, like I say, sticking some blues in the shadows. After that was curves, just add a bit of contrast and play around with the tones. Then there was a bit too much orange in his face, so for the hue saturation I got rid of some of the orangey red in his face. Next after that was another dodge and burn. As I say, I dodge and burn many times, so I'll do the first initial one and then keep going and I build it up over time. So next was the black and white layer. Take it down to 43%, just desaturate the image a little. Next was another curves adjustment. Let's see. Actually, I don't know what I was doing. It's there for some reason, but I just don't know what it's doing. Then I added some colour with the gradients, 2 circle gradients, a blue one, soft light, coming up from this angle, an orangey coloured one coming down from this angle for the light to merge in with the light. Obviously, the blue and orangey complementary colours. What if you've got a colour wheel, it'll show you the two colours what will go together, the two opposite colours. So I flattened that one. And next I went into colour effects foreground. I added a bleach bypass, put the layer down to 29%. Added a layer mask, brushed in just on where I wanted the effect to be. And after that was added a bit more colouring again, using the gradients. I pinched them from down here and stuck them into another one there, that's why that layer's flattened. Then I added a little blur to the sky just for a little bit of depth. Then after that was not sure what that one's for either. As you can tell, my workflow's still a bit messy. I need to title my layers a little better maybe. And finally another dodge and burn. This time it's darkened this side of his face, obviously because the sun's coming from this angle here. And that's it for Photoshop. I then saved the file, took it over to Lightroom, and I always do some final adjustments in Lightroom. On this image particularly, I used this radial filter here. I put a radial filter, let's see, click on it. That one there was inverted, so we've got a bit of clarity on this bit, brightened it up a bit, and then on this one, didn't invert it, and I just darkened it around here just to draw your eye to this, to his face here, and get a bit of a vignette, if that's the correct way to say it. And then that was it, saved it, and all done. So yeah, not a long edit, just a quick one. Yeah, pretty good effects, cinematic, portrait, steampunk. Thanks for watching.